Welcome, Caleb's Basketball Pod. On this episode, we're going to we're going to talk about some of the game 1s and 2s we've seen already. We're also going to preview our Sunday series because we did get to that episode yet. So, despite game 1 being played in all of those series, my predictions for that series don't change. It was the same before and it's the same now. So, let's start with Boston, Orlando. Orlando is really struggling to score the basketball right now. We see that against Boston. We've seen that throughout the regular season. Bottom 5 in offense, but number 2 in defense, and that's huge defensively. And they held Boston to 103 points. Not bad. Problem is you only scored 86 yourself. So. Of course, for offensive production needs to be a lot better if you're Orlando. And it's just bad for your offense all around when you have to rely on like a couple guys to shoot the ball well to score over 100 points. And despite Paolo and Franz, you're relying on good games from Cole Anthony or Anthony Black to even reach over 100. That's just bad for Orlando all around. I do think the physicality Orlando brings and they play with, they are going to take at least a game, probably in Orlando. I'm going to say maybe game 3. But my prediction is Boston in 5. And something else real quick, sum up this series is game 1, we didn't see much from Brown or Tatum, and the Celtics still won by 17. That's not looking good for Orlando. If Brown and Tatum catch up and they go off, remember, watch out for that knee on Brown. And we saw Tatum go down 2 a little bit in game 1. But if they catch up with the rest of the Celtics offense right now, that series could be over in 4. Next up, let's move to our other Eastern Conference matchup on Sunday, which was the number 1 Cleveland Cavaliers against the number 8 Miami Heat. Miami Heat had a losing record. They came into the playoffs from the play-in. They beat the number 8 seed Atlanta and the number 9 seed Chicago. Props to them. I don't think they have nearly enough talent to compete with Cleveland in this series. Much like Orlando, Boston, I just don't see it being much of a series because of Eric Spoelstra's game planning and how smart of a coach he is. I'm giving them 1, and they're probably taking Miami maybe game 3 or 4 and extend the series, but I'm saying Cleveland in 5. And if we keep, and same thing I was talking about Boston, if Evan Mobley catches up to the rest of the Cavs offense, and if Ty Jerome keeps playing how he played in game 1, 28 points, that series could be over in 4 too, but my prediction is Cleveland in 5. Now let's start moving on to the Western Conference. There's not a lot to say about this matchup, Oklahoma and Memphis. I knew it was overmatched from when I seen it. I really knew anyone that was at Golden State from that play-in Oklahoma, the series where it lasts long. I didn't know it was going to be as bad as it was in game 1. And mind you, it's still just 1 loss. But they beat the brakes off of the Memphis Grizzlies, and it got bad. And you didn't see much from Ja. You didn't see much from Jackson or Bane. It was a blowout. It got bad, and Shea didn't even have a good game. With that said, I'm most definitely going Oklahoma in 4. It's unfortunate, but with the firing of a coach and everything, I really did see Memphis as even a playoff team. From the point of when they fired their coach on, they was just struggling. Offenses looked a lot worse, and just all in all, just does not look like a team. I think they have some serious decisions to make on this roster and on this team in the offseason. And I think Oklahoma is going to give them a chance to start early because I think they're sending them home really early in the playoffs. I would predict Memphis is the 4th team eliminated from the playoffs, is my prediction. Next up, the other play-in matchup from Western Conference. This, I believe, is going to be a good matchup, a good showdown. We have Houston and Golden State. I'm predicting this series to go 7. I think they're pretty well-matched teams. I think the difference is going to come in at the end. It's what we're seeing, what we saw in game 1. The experience for Golden State, for Steph and Jimmy. A lot of that comes into play. But also just the scoring troubles that Houston has, not as bad as Orlando. But Houston has struggled throughout the year to put points on the board too at different points in the season, and I still believe they need that one go-to guy. So I'm going Golden State in 7 on this one. I think it's going to be a really good series, and I think if you're Houston, you're going to have to limit what everyone else does. We're seeing that Jimmy Butler and Steph Curry, they're going to get theirs. You're going to have to start limiting what other guys do. You can't focus so much on shutting Steph and Jimmy down because you aren't going to. So I think you want to give them the best you can, but you have to limit the numbers of like Jimmy Butler averaging like 6 assists in the playoffs. You want to limit those numbers. Don't give him those outlets to pass when he gets double teamed. Don't double team him. Let him go one-on-one. Let him beat you. Same for Steph. Let Steph beat you. And don't let anyone else get utter shots and utter looks, because if you start letting guys like Buddy Hield, Pajinski, if Kuminga gets minutes, him, if you let these guys start getting points, Moses Moody, then this series could turn into a blowout, and it could end sooner than 7. And you don't want that. The other thing is, for Houston, you need to find a way to get Jalen Green going. The series could end a lot sooner than 7, and you may not even have a chance to win at home in 7 if Jalen Green don't start playing his style of basketball, because he was non-existent in Game 1. So, in my opinion, you need to find a way to get him better looks, set up screens, set up plays where we get him better looks. Don't let him try to force it. Set him up with plays where he's already going downhill. Maybe he can get a couple finish at the basket. Try set some off-ball screens. Give him some open looks for threes or mid-range shots. Something you have to try to get him in rhythm in this series. And maybe if he starts going off, we've seen him put up 40 before. You might even come away and you might win that Game 7 if you get him some confidence heading into in this series. But if Game 1's in the indication of what Jalen Green's going to give you, you may be going home sooner rather than later. So if you're Houston, you need to find a way to get him going. Now let's jump into some of the games we've always seen. Some of the interesting ones. I spoke on all of our Sunday games that we've seen. We have, let's talk about the games that had one game so far from Saturday. That would be Milwaukee, Indiana. So news on that front. Dame Lillard is returning tonight. So that's a huge boost for Milwaukee, but I don't think he's going to make an immediate impact. I want to say maybe he'll start making an impact in Game 4. He hasn't played basketball for over a month with that blood clot. He has to get back into shape. He has to get back into rhythm. So if you're Milwaukee, you have to take at least this game or the next game before Dame gets in rhythm, and you have a real shot to win this series. But if you lose the next 2 games before Dame's really in rhythm, this series is pretty much over. So you need to fight, and Giannis, like I said, Giannis has to be the best player on the floor, and he was in the last game. Problem was he couldn't even get assists because his teammates were just off. Kyle Kuzma put up goose eggs on every stat. And that's just bad. You traded for him. You got rid of a vet, and Chris Middleton, someone that you know most definitely produces in the playoffs, and you got rid of him for Kuzma, and Kuzma gave you nothing. So, if I'm Milwaukee, I need to figure out a way to get confidence through my other players, because we know what we're getting from Giannis. Maybe Dame gives him a little confidence boost, as in, hey, Dame's back, and maybe his return sooner is not as much for him as he is for the morale of the team. But I do think this, like I said before, I think it's going to be an interesting series. And if Dame comes back, I most definitely see Milwaukee taking it if Dame can get back to form. But hey, don't sleep on the Indiana Pacers team. We've seen what they've done the last 2 seasons around the March and April timeframe. They go on this run and got to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. So be interesting to see how this series goes. And it's also interesting the fact of everyone last year said they only beat Milwaukee because Giannis wasn't there and it was just Dame. Well, now you have Giannis and Dame. Can they beat Milwaukee again? It's becoming an interesting rivalry between the Pacers and the Bucks. So I believe that's a series to keep an eye on. Let's talk about Minnesota and the Lakers. Lakers just looked stunned in that game. They looked like they got shocked. They just kind of came out, and the game plan, which I spoke on, of J.J. Redick giving up threes, and sometimes it comes back bite you. And Minnesota's not going to hit 21 threes in every game. They game plan very well for we're going to give up threes to Jaden McDaniels, which is apparently what they were seeing. They're probably going by percentages and going by who J.J. Redick tends to leave open in his defensive schemes. And they got Jaden Daniels some good looks. He had a team-high 25 points in that game. And the Wolves blew the Lakers out of their own building. Do I think it's going to happen again? No. I think the Lakers are going to come out with a lot more fire and a lot more competitiveness in this next game, in Game 2, which is on tonight. And I think we're going to see a really close game. I think the Lakers are going to win this game, and I think we're going to be tied up going Minnesota. But you don't have to hit the panic button yet. But if somehow Minnesota gets this game tonight, game number 2, if you're the Lakers, you have to hit that panic button, and every game from here on out has to be do or die, because that's how close you can be to going home. Especially because of the fact that our next 2 games after tonight's in Minnesota. So it's just something to keep an eye on. If you're the Lakers, now's winning time. Now it's time 20 up. You need to get the best out of LeBron. Luka needs to make a little bit more passes. He made some bad decisions, not necessarily great plays in the game. He was really looking for his own shot. His teammates were 1 of 8 when he passed, but you'd expect someone that draws as much attention as Luka Doncic to get his teammates the ball more than 8 times in a game, especially in a playoff game with how much attention he's drawing. But like I said, a little bit of hero ball there, and it's not what you were looking for if you're the Lakers. But I think we need a big game from LeBron if we're the Lakers, to really prove dominance. People were wondering if he was going to slow down in the playoffs, and he's not looking. Game 1, he did not look as interested as I think everyone thought he would be. 19 points, sure, not the best LeBron game, but we all know LeBron, and we know he's coming out big. Something else I want to mention on the Minnesota front is Anthony Edwards was not so aggressive for his shot. He got his teammates involved a lot. That could have been a lot of the offensive scheme of Minnesota, knowing that in prompt times, these doubles would come from the Lakers, and we saw Anthony Edwards really get his guys involved. And you have to think there's going to be a game in this series, most definitely at least 1 or 2, that Anthony Edwards is going to be aggressively looking for a shot, and he may give you 40 on that night. So like I said, tonight's a big game for the Lakers. You can't leave LA down 2-0. So that's a really interesting game to watch. And if you're Minnesota, you want to leave LA up 2-0 because you do not want to give the Lakers a chance to breathe. If you destroy them in LA game 1, you go to game 2, and you let LA destroy you or win, now it's a series. If you do it vice versa, you're starting to crush the Lakers' spirit, and you may already have the series on lock. You may be in the Lakers' head. So like I said, big game for both teams. If I'm the Wolves, I'm changing you up. We know what the Lakers gave you. We know what you took. They're not going to give you the same thing. You have to change up. You have to find a different style of play to come out and ignite the fire for your team. It's not going to be the same as it was game 1. And you also have to watch out for LeBron. We saw Luka get off in the first quarter against the Wolves, but I think LeBron's going to be the guy that goes off on you in this game, and I think he's going to be aggressively looking for a shot, and you may still have Luka aggressively looking for a shot. And remember too, Austin Reeves did not have a good game, so I think you're going to have a lot of guys want to improve something for the Lakers, and it's going to be a good one tonight. Last couple series to talk about is Denver LA. I said it, I honestly believe this series is going 7. Just so both teams have been playing such good basketball as of late. You have Nikola Jokic, who is arguably the best player in the league. You have Kawhi Leonard, who when he's playing like this, you could say he is the best player in the league. When healthy, he is top 5 in the league, and I'm standing on that opinion. And right now he's healthy, and we saw the Kawhi game. He was dominant on both ends last night, and he tied the series up at 1-1, Denver LA. I think it's going to come down to what team gets more out of their second player. We're seeing Jokic and Kawhi dominate, but is the Clippers going to get more out of James Harden, or is the Nuggets going to get more out of Jamal Murray? And also, look at how the Nuggets are doing things. We're seeing more Russell Westbrook minutes and less Michael Porter Jr. Minutes. That's odd. That's a little different. They're going really small, but the Clippers go small besides Zubac. You're playing Harden, Dunn, Kawhi, possibly Derek Jones, possibly Nicholas Batum, possibly Norman Powell. So you're going for smaller. Kawhi's a big guy, but he's big as in a small forward. He's not big as in a power forward. So you're playing a low small ball. So Denver's matching that by going no Porter, and you're playing Jokic, Aaron Gordon, Christian Braun, Russell Westbrook, and Jamal Murray. You're going really small for the Nuggets, and it's been an interesting series, and it's been, oddly enough, a chess match. We know Denver's head coach has only been coaching for like 6 games now, but oddly enough, he's having a chess match with one of the better strategists coach in the league currently right now in Tyronn Lue. So be interesting to see who wins that coaching battle. I think that's why the money's on the Clippers for me. And also be interesting to see what you get more out of. Do you get more out of Harden or Jamal Murray? Last series talk about, this is surprisingly not it at one. And again, I'm not taking away anything that Detroit's done. But I really thought we were going to see New York flip a switch. I really thought we saw them struggle against top teams when the season was going, like 0-10. Yeah, 0-10 against our top 3 teams. So I thought maybe New York was going to hit that switch. We did see them hit the switch. They won that historic 21-0 win in the game 1 fourth quarter against the Detroit Pistons, and ended up kind of turning that game into a minor blowout. This last game, we saw Detroit struggle to score the ball again. 0 field goals made for like 6 minutes, like 5 something, so about 6 minutes. And New York just couldn't get over that hump. Detroit's defense tightened up. New York couldn't get over that hump. I thought the ball was in Brunson's hand too much, and he wasn't making plays for teammates. He was really looking for his own shot. I thought that was a mistake. I know Karl-Anthony Towns only had 10 points, but if you're Brunson, it's your job to make sure Towns is your 2, if that's how we're doing this. Maybe Towns is the 1. You're the point guard. You're still supposed to make sure Towns is the 1 or the 2. When you're Jalen Brunson and you're the point guard and you're trying to take over the game and you're not passing the ball, and your teammates aren't really getting to do anything, and you're just kind of playing hero ball, I think it ruins what options the Knicks have, because you have options. You have Brunson, you have Towns, you have Bridges, you have OG Anunoby's been playing amazing as of late, and you have Josh Hart. Josh Hart may go scoreless in the game, but when it's big shots, we're seeing this guy hit those shots. So I think if you're the Knicks, you have to find a way to get Brunson, move the ball, get other guys involved. You have a really, really good starting lineup. It's about time you start using that starting lineup and not relying so heavily on Brunson. I've mentioned this before. For Cleveland, when they took the next step, we saw Donovan Mitchell take a step back in the offense. We saw Donovan Mitchell allow Darius Garland, allow Evan Mobley, allow Ty Jerome even to do their thing and take a step back and not be so worried about him. I think when we see Brunson do the same, we're going to get the best out of the Knicks. But until we do, and if we keep seeing Brunson play hero ball, I think it's going to be hard for the Knicks to beat some of the top teams in the NBA, and even hard to win some physical playoff games. Remember, he does have some built to him. He does have, he's bulky, Brunson, but he is a smaller height-wise player that these hits and the physicality, it takes a toll on him. So I think at that point, he needs to use his teammates. He's drawing a lot of double teams. He's drawing contact. He needs to get teammates better looks. And I think when that starts happening, and when we're seeing more offense where anyone can take that big shot in the game, not just Brunson, I think we'll get the most out of the Knicks. And I hate to say this, but I kind of think Tom Thibodeau's on that J.B. Bickerstaff leg of coaching. We saw with Bickerstaff, he got the Cavs to a point, but he couldn't get them past that point, and we saw them kind of stay in that same area. I think we're at the point where we may see a 6 or 7 game series between Detroit before the Knicks get out of there. Doesn't look great for them. We may see them go home in 5 to the Celtics. Not looking good for how they're playing right now. And if that happens, I'm predicting Tom Thibodeau will be gave the pink slip, and the Knicks will be looking to find someone to re-innovate the offense and try to get guys to buy in and become a championship team. But the Knicks have a lot of time. I think they need to find that next level of offense again, keep the ball moving, keep everyone involved, use a little bit more of your bench, trust some other players, not get in these big holes to Detroit, beat them in 5, gain some momentum against the Celtics and go from there. But if you're going to keep playing like this and you're going to keep getting these big holes and you have to try to fight your way back in, A, you're going to wear yourself down, and B, you're going to make this a series. You need to play New York basketball and blow the Pistons out of the water. They're a young team, they're inexperienced. You don't want to give them confidence. Start playing your style of ball. Keep all of your guys involved. Keep all of your guys focused because they're getting the ball. Keep Towns up on that higher echelon of the league by showing how dominant he is. Blow Detroit out of the water. Build confidence going in Boston. And if nothing else, at least take the Celtics to 7. That's all I want to see from the Knicks. But they have to take that next step. Their mindset has to change. This is the playoffs. You have to, you always have a level in regular season. You need to raise that level up when we're at playoff time. I need to see that level go from here to all the way up here. And once that happens, I think the Knicks are going to be a force to be working with. And it's not too late to flip the switch, but I think the switch has to be flipped right now before Game 3 in Detroit. Send a message, blow Detroit out of the water in Detroit in Game 3, and get home court advantage back, and then see where we go from there. But so far, very interesting series, and props to that young Detroit team. If you're Detroit, keep doing what you're doing. Keep coming out of the gate strong, keep attacking, keep building those leads. Try to not go 5 minutes without scoring in each game, because you've done that in both games right now in big moments. So try to be creative, create some offense, move the ball around, don't let it stick. There were a couple plays where I saw where Cade Cunningham could have dropped off these passes to Jalen Dorn and got some easy dunks, but instead he went right at Karl-Anthony Towns. When you're going right at him, when you're double clutching, you could just drop you off, underhand pass, wide open dunk, just get some points on the board, get a field goal. But that comes with maturity and style of play. But like I said, if you're Detroit, continue to do what you're doing. Keep attacking. Figure out your offense. Your defense is looking pretty good. And you may steal a few from the Knicks. If you get it to a win or go home for the Knicks, you never know what may happen. So interesting series. Interesting to see where that goes. Like I said, this is the most interesting time of the season. So keep watching, guys. We're about being for the most competitive playoffs we've seen in years. So stay tuned, everyone.